Okay, we can take this one.
Yeah.
Well, I've been a summer resident of Rockport since I was little, but I've never actually been involved in the school district. And so I approached Stephanie at Rockport Music. I was supposed to do some sort of musical internship towards one of my degrees. And so we met and we hit it off right away, and I pitched my idea to start a jazz camp because that's my background. It was something that Stephanie was interested in, and then we kind of just took off with it.
So last year was our first year. We had 7, and they did a great job. I was super impressed with Alexa's working with them. They had some public performances, and then they started talking to other people, and parents started asking us. And so over the course of the winter and spring, Alexa, and then we reeled in Anthony in on the project.
Yes.
Quickly, and we just started promoting it, and that's how it happened.
And now we have almost 35 kids, which is way more than I think any of us were expecting. Yeah. But we're finding that it's working out great, and everyone's having a great time, and it's smooth sailing so far.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our day starts with a group meeting where we just kind of do an overview of the schedule, and the entire schedule is really based off of my teaching at other jazz camps. We start with warm-ups just to get kids going and comfortable for the rest of the day. Then we do our small workshops, which is really where they get the bulk of their it's sort of like a jazz boot camp, really. It combines jazz theory, ensemble performance, performance etiquette, improvisation, jazz repertoire, a little bit of jazz history. It's really kind of like your all-in-one package for a crash course in jazz, and I think that's really one of the most important aspects of the day.
Today we were talking about how to get a really, really good sound and all the various different things that you have to do. And the sound, the kids said, from the first time they did it and I said, blow me out of the room. I want you to make such a honkin' big string sound that I get blown out of the room. And so I, of course, blew myself out of the room at the end, but they all could see that it was just so much better when they did all the various things that you have to do to get a really good sound.
After that, we go to big band, and Anthony can talk about that. He's the big band head honcho here.
We split them up into 2 big bands. Each group we've got classical string players, classical flute players, clarinet, and we've kind of put them in 2 feet first right into the jazz world, and it's been fun. I have seen some some smiles and some also terrified smiles. It's been enjoyable so far watching that much.
Yeah, and then after big band we do our jazz history listening component, where we did another type of crash course. We have 3 days, so an hour each day, and we started with early jazz the first day, then sort of bebop swing era the second day, and today's later, sort of like people that are still alive in the jazz world today. So they're really getting the whole spectrum, and the faculty, we've played for them, and that was really fun to see their reaction. So it's really the whole
they love that.
Shebang, yeah.
Don't look at me.
More, yeah.
We figure we went from 7 to 35. It's
Yeah.
Start
If we go
into
at
my
this
whole
rate,
program
I know. I think we eventually would love to have kids from all different school districts around Cape Ann. Right now we have primarily Rockport students, which is great. And to have kids want to come back every year so that we can really form sort of long-lasting relationships with them, have them form long-lasting relationships with maybe students they wouldn't have met otherwise. Seeing them year after year is something that I really am excited about. I hope that happens.
And for classical musicians, you could sit in the back of the section and just not get any real positive individual feedback. For 6 or 7 years, you could sit there and, play your violin or cello or whatever. But in jazz, everyone gets to take a solo. Everyone gets to do something that is not written on a piece of paper. Everyone gets to think about how this note relates to that note. So it's an entirely different approach to music. And with an entirely different approach, you get entirely different positive feedback, I think, especially for classical musicians.
Absolutely.
I think the small group that I've been working with is such a wide range. I've got 11th grader, 10th grader, 2 9th graders, and an 8th grader. And I can tell you right now that the 11th grader wouldn't have really known the 8th grader outside of this camp, and they're inseparable. The 8th grader said that she really likes the way the older student sounds when she's singing, and I caught her. She looks up every time and smiles while she's playing the piano. They really have mixed well together, and it's been enjoyable.
Well, I said to the kids, you know, in jazz there are no wrong notes. In classical music, sometimes there are. And so whatever you do, that's fine, because that's you doing it. And I think that's a really positive musical experience for the kids to have. The kids have been great, the parents have been great, the school system has been supportive. From my perspective, things have really gone a lot more smoothly than I in my wildest nightmares thought they might. So I'm very, very pleased, both in terms of the staff, in terms of the faculty, in terms of the kids, the parents, the support that everyone's given us.
It's really been like a kind of a dream team, and I'm just grateful that I get to be a part of it.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Definitely, it's been fun.
Yeah.